Did we on it?
Yeah, sure. It's all. It's fine.
Is though we should follow the scriptures, they are complex with inherent contradictions. I'm not sure of that, but they're complex. How do we follow them correctly?
That's a good question. So the one premise in the question is they are not inherently contradictory. That is not true. It is just that we have not been taught the scriptures properly. And how do we follow them? We have to see, like for example, now you're asking questions here. So we have to find more and more of these ways. So through satsang, we learn about the scriptures properly. We learn how to follow them also. And then when there are things that are not clear, then we ask. There's Amma in Toronto, I'm coming, and there are others that you meet. You can ask questions. So that's how they become clear. See, at one point I also did not know scriptures. And through the grace of our Puja Gurudev and so many great sages and all that, Guruji and all, and we learn scriptures. So we also have to put the effort. Nothing in this world comes without effort. We have to put the effort to understand it clearly, and then we can follow. Please remember, they are not self-contradictory. That is only seemingly so. When we don't know something, it looks like they are self-contradictory. Yeah? All right.
Swamiji, you mentioned about good living. If somebody has to say that you can do your good living, then really what is the need of learning the scriptures? Because if you do good living, apparently you'd be happy. But then what is truly the need to do the scriptures if you have a good life?
Yeah, that is what I was just trying to address in that. Of course, I didn't deal with it long enough. So, human existence, not only human existence, all existence is an evolutionary existence. If you see in the nature, when an organism, biological organism in nature, when it receives stress from the environment, it evolves to meet the stress, to meet the demands of the environment. That is a natural thing, right? So, human beings are given the freedom in that regard. The animal kingdom doesn't have the freedom. It will meet the stress and it will evolve. They don't have that freedom. But the human being has the freedom now. He can decide, well, I will evolve or I will devolve. That freedom, that is what is the meaning of freedom. So now, the person who lives the ordinary life and he says, I am living a good sattvic life and whatever, I don't need all this spirituality and all that kind of thing, that person is stagnant. There is one more thing in all of that. For the person who says, I am living a good life, that person has really not studied this world and studied what exactly is the meaning of good life. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Now see, all of us are sitting in this room. Outside it is cold, this room is warm. How it became warm? We are burning gas or electricity, which also is burning gas to make electricity. Right? Yeah. You drove here and came by a car, so you spewed carbon monoxide into the atmosphere. So I am contributing every moment to something bad in this universe. So the person who says, I am living a good life, I don't have to follow any spirituality and all. That person who is following that good life, he doesn't realize he is doing so much pap at the same time in his good life. We all have to, this microphone is using electricity. So inadvertently, without even wanting, we go on doing pap. That is the nature of this world. So if I think that I am living a good life and I am not doing anything bad, I will be okay and all that kind of thing, this person has to still understand the nature of the prakriti in which we are living. The nature of the prakriti is, I cannot escape pap. And the result of pap is dukkha. So right now I am living a good life. I may not have the dukkha, but sooner or later it's going to catch up with me. Because what goes around comes around. That is the nature of the world. So whatever good life I may say I'm living, I'm still contributing to Papa in this universe. So I'm going on taking at the expense of others, because the capitalist system, the capitalist system is based on one group taking advantage of. You know that, I hope you know that. You are living in a steep capitalist system, and it is based on exploitation. Capitalism cannot work if there is no exploitation. So you're part and you say, I'm living a good life. The good, what do you mean by good and all? You have to rethink. You're contributing to the exploitation, you're contributing to the degradation of the environment, you're contributing to so many bad things in the world, and living on the backs of others and the shoulders of others, and I'm living a good life. That has to be given some thought. So spirituality is required to understand all of this and to know then how to come out of it.
So goodness is relative.
Relative, right? Very much.
Depends on what your thought.
Very much. Yeah.
There's another question which is actually on the very similar lines, and this is, Swamiji, if all of the yugas repeat, and if all of us will come back and play out the same scenes again, then how do we all evolve? And there's a follow-up to that. But the main question is then, as you were mentioning in the previous thing, that, well, we're doing this to evolve. So what is that evolution? What are we looking for?
Unfortunately, for most human beings, the evolution is very incremental, very slight, except the one who really gives up all of this and sits like a Gurudev, sits like a Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi. His evolution is rapid. Most people, the evolution is incremental. So that is still, again, I told you, that choice is given to us. The environment and the animals also don't have that choice, but we have that choice. I can make my evolution, and that all says, what is it? It says in the Sanskrit Subhashita that Udyame nahi siddhyanti karyani namanorathaihi. Udyama means self-effort. Then only I can have this evolution. Otherwise, really, I just come back and repeat the same thing.
So there was one more question actually on the same evolutionary path. The ultimate purpose is self-realization, which I guess is that path of evolution. The path, the writer writes, is the path is to that of removal of ignorance.
Right.
For walking on this path, how should one choose the means? By means, they mean example of being in business, engineer, doctor. How should one choose the mean resources to reach the destination?
So, we are all cut out to do something by Prakriti, by Bhagavan's Prakriti, right? One is cut out to be a doctor, one is cut out to be an engineer, one is cut out to be a Swami, one is cut out to be, different things like that. Whatever we are cut out to do, we have to do that thing in a spirit of dedication, in a spirit of surrender, in a spirit of what we call as offering to Bhagavan.
Bhakti.
Well, offering here, right? It's a karma yoga. Karma yoga requires that I do what I am doing, do it well, and offer it to the Lord. I am doing this for Bhagavan. So whatever I am cut out to do, I have to have this bhav. It is the bhav that counts, not what you are doing. So the person who is picking up garbage from in front of your house every day, if he has the correct bhav, and the Prime Minister doesn't have the correct bhav, the garbage collector will way advance past the Prime Minister. It doesn't matter what we are doing. What matters is the bhav. Right? So the means is whatever work I am doing right now, but do it with the right bhav, right intention, attitude, right motive, like that.
So it doesn't matter what we are doing?
No, absolutely not. In fact, sometimes it becomes a hindrance. Because if I am an engineer, I go, I am an engineer, this fellow is a garbage collector. He is nothing. That becomes an obstacle then.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
It's not what I am doing. That may even turn out to be an obstacle.
So then how do we guide the children? The children, when they reach a stage where they have to decide. I have full respect for the garbage collector. But it's very hard to find anybody here who's going to say, my child, it's okay to be a garbage collector. And so when we come to that detail, we are so wrapped in our society that how do we discern the right guidance, to give the right guidance to our children?
This is actually what causes a lot of sorrow in society.
Yes.
What happens, right, is my duty, and this is what we are supposed, why we have this Bal Vihar. We have the Bal Vihar to teach values and teach, goodness to children.
Yeah.
So we want these children to become good human beings first. Human beings who see mukti or enlightenment as the final goal. Means they are clear about this thing, right? These two things. You have to become a good human being and see that mukti is the final goal. Then, as a parent, we are supposed, like for example, Gurudev used to give a very nice example. You have a plant in a pot, right? Now, I've seen this happen before. Somebody gave me a hibiscus plant in a pot. So now, I give water, I give nutrients, I give sunlight, I protect it from the cow in the ashram. But hibiscus comes in white, yellow, red, pink. I can't tell this plant, you give red. I like red. You give yellow. I like yellow. I can give the water, give the nutrients, give the sunlight, give the protection. But I really cannot tell the plant what to give. That plant was meant to give something. So what we do, we provide the children with the Bal Vihar teaching. We provide the children with food, clothing, shelter, and all the education system which is there. But that child is meant to be something. Now what happens there? The child is meant to be this, and I want the child to be that. That is going to bring sorrow to you and to the child also, both somewhere down the line. The child has to be just given the basics of life, fundamental teaching of spirituality and all of that, and provided with all the things that he needs to express his inner tendencies and what he was cut out to be, like that. This is proper parenting. What happens is we have a lot of mismatch and sorrows because we come up with a different program. We try to intervene in the program. No, it is also true that if mother is doctor and father is doctor, it is quite probable that he will be born with the same type of bonus and he may become a doctor. But we also have to watch out for the opposite. Because nature doesn't have any assured things like that, you see. But it is possible that he'll go along the same line. So that time we say, my dear, my child, I want you to be a good human being and I want you to know the spiritual principles and all the teachings and all that kind of thing. And whatever you cut out to be, you use that and serve humanity well. And that is what is important, because if you're a doctor and you're a miserable doctor, you will not serve you, your parents, and nobody. The doctors end up in jail also.
Yes. I've not been, but they do. I know that.
I've seen.
Yeah. I've got some friends who need to go.
See.
I'm just going off topic from this card though, because at the moment we have a lot of parents here, and I'm sure this question is bugging their mind, that you've clearly differentiated between the spiritual knowledge that we give our children and the secular or the academic knowledge children are receiving. And what we are observing in the world now is that there's a heavy stress on academic knowledge, secular knowledge.
Yeah.
And spiritual knowledge is getting the back seat.
Actually, this whole thing is built on ego and social mileage by parents.
Okay. So how do we as parents now get more of that spiritual education back to our children so that they make the right decisions?
No, so that's why we have these type of sessions where parents learn actually what is good parenting. It is okay for me to wish that my child becomes a doctor or an engineer or whatever, but it is wrong for me to insist that the child becomes this when his nature is cut out for something else. And there are parents who do that also. I just met parents from Chicago. They're doctors. That boy said, I want my life to be dedicated to music and to teaching music. And the parents said, okay, fine. And the boy is a very good musician. He's going around the whole of America teaching music, and he's enjoying his life, and there are so many people learning from him also. So the parents allowed him to express what his inner tendencies are, but not many parents are like that. It means the parent's happiness supersedes the child's happiness. That thing is not good. It is not good to really use your jivahood to satisfy your likes and dislikes at the expense of somebody else. That is not proper parenting. That is pap. Amma.
Just want to. This is not my thought. I've heard the Gurudev saying it again and again. As parents, please don't try to have your unfulfilled desires to be fulfilled by your children.
Children, yeah.
And there is a tendency, if we really look at ourselves, there is a very strong tendency to do so.
Correct.
This service. And if we honestly look at ourselves, why? Only because some stuff from the past I'm carrying and I'm using these poor souls to do dirty job for
That's why I'm calling that
That's
pap.
not what Gurudev said.
That thing is called pap, actually.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Yeah. That is, just now we were talking about capitalist system has exploitation. That is a form of exploitation. That's called psychological exploitation.
Right. Coming back to today's teaching, Swamiji, you said that we are one by sambandha and different by vyavahara. But many of us do not follow the rules of sambandha, resulting in people opposed to the Sanatana Dharma, taking advantage of it. What can we do to improve this? That is, that everybody is not following the rules, and how do we do to improve this?
No, we only go on teaching more and more clearly what exactly Sanatana Dharma is. We have to make sure that all our children also know clearly what Sanatana Dharma is. And at the root of Sanatana Dharma is the oneness. But usually what we stress on is the differences rather than the oneness. We're too much concentrated on the differences and we forget. And I told this is a result of delusion, at the superficial level. We pay attention more and more to the superficial differences and we don't pay attention to the fundamental level. So we have to have a good mix of both. You can't have one at the expense of the other. So in our teaching, in our dissemination of the knowledge of Shastras and all that sort of thing, we have to make sure that we stress on both of them. It is just that not stress more.
But we need to know first before we can stress.
Yes.
We have to learn.
We have to learn that. So this was a good topic and good session today because it touched on the fundamental level.
Yes.
This is good.
Now this question is very technical, so I'm only the reader. Please can you elaborate on the tattvas? What is the purpose of having tattva if there is only one reality?
No, I don't understand what is the meaning of tattva.
So
Tattva means?
tattva, anybody who
Panch Mahabhutas. 5 elements. Oh, yeah. Alright. So, no. So, the rishis have just, if you see this building go up, right, and you're a builder, quickly, well, I will do. I don't know if you will do. Quickly, I will ask, did they use concrete blocks or did they use clay blocks? Is it a double pane window or single pane window? As a builder, the moment he sees a constructed building, quickly he starts asking question. Do we have steel beams, I-beams, or do we have concrete beams? Like those kind of things. Now, in the very same way, we see this universe in front of us. Whole thing standing up so nicely. So the rishis started looking, what is the universe made up of? So science tells that it is made up of electrons, protons, neutrons, quarks, neutrinos, this, that, all that sort of thing, right? So the rishis, who were very good observers, also went deeper to find out that the universe is also a structured thing, but it is structured from the 5 elements. So it means to say the universe, which is a manifestation, or which is called abhas, an appearance, the appearance also have to have some kind of internal structure. Fundamentally, finally, see, the whole building is supported by the earth, this building. But on the surface now the building is made of bricks and glass and beams and all that kind of thing. So also fundamentally the whole universe, all of us, fundamentally is Brahman. But at the superficial level, it has to be made of something. So at the superficial level, it is made up of the 5 elements. It has to be structured on some building blocks. Those are the building blocks, like that. So it is not that Bhagavan sat and he decided that, I will only make 5 elements. Bhagavan manifests as 5 elements. And that is the way he exists. This is the nature of the reality, to exist superficially as 5 elements and fundamentally as Brahman. When we say nature, means there is no decision making process. Like nobody, water did not decide to be wet. Water by nature is wet. It did not sit one day, okay, I am dry until now, but today I will be wet. In the very same way, Bhagavan did not sit down and decide that I will manifest as 5 elements, not 6. Bhagavan's manifestation is in the form of 5 elements, and this manifestation which we are talking about, and at the fundamental level, is nature, is Satchitananda. This is very nicely explained in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Dve vava brahmano rupe murtam chaiva amurtam cha. It means at its fundamental level, one murti, one form is nirguna. At this level, his murti is saguna, and the saguna is with 5 elements. This is the way Brahman exists in 2 forms. Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It was not my question.
Oh, okay.
I thought this was the question. But there's a question in the same vein that how is God different from Brahman? Why are there so many gods in Hinduism versus 8 Brahmanic religions?
Okay, very good. So, see, the manifestations which we see in front of us here, right? This is varied or not? I mean, this thing doesn't look like this thing. This is one manifestation of 5 elements, and this is another manifestation of 5 elements. They look differently, have different purpose and all of that sort of thing. Well, the manifestations of Paramatma is infinite. Infinite. First means the number, right? Infinite. Second thing, its capacity is also varied. Like for example, the capacity of an ant is, it can only carry a leaf. But if you give this to the ant, his capacity is different, isn't it? The poor fellow will die. So not only the varied number, but varied capacity also. And the capacity is, that's why I said Pipilika, from an ant all the way up to Brahmaji. In the scriptures you know that. So this is the range of capacity. Now Brahmaji with his 4 heads and all can just think, and he has a son, Narad. You have a capacity or what? No. In the universe we have from an ant all the way up to Brahma Pariyantam, all the way up to Brahmaji. So we have a varied manifestation, and we have a manifestation with varied capacity also. So because of this nature of this universe, now we have human beings in one level, then we have those who are devatas and those who are different beings in different worlds and all of that. And that's how we end up with so many different types of deities and all that. Why all the capacity should be same in any case? Even here we don't have all capacity. All ants must be thinking you are gods. Because we have a different capacity and we can go to the moon. And if he wants to jump from here to this phone, he can't. You can go to the moon. And we are 7 billion on the earth. 7 billion deities.
So when you indicated that there's such wide capacity, this next question then creates more confusion than anything. How does a person maintain oneness in thought then? Right?
No, so I'm telling now, even though you have the manifestation of pot and plate and spoon and dog and elephant, and this is a very simple thing actually in Vedanta.
Okay.
Very, very simple. You please see that the various manifestations, whatever they're there, at a fundamental level, they are made up of one thing only. That you have to understand. You may have a varied manifestation in that shop, but at a fundamental level, you don't have variation, you don't have multiplicity, you don't have diversity, you have only.
But that's on a Saturday morning listening to you today here. When we go out in the world, how do we maintain that constantly in our thought? So we control our behavior to maintain this in our day-to-day living.
I see. When the teacher
That
taught
is the
us,
question.
when the teacher taught us in the class, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Did the teacher just come one day and say, okay class, listen today. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Now you all go home. Teacher never does. The teacher tells 2 plus 2. When the boy came home, son, what did you learn today in school? We learned addition. Oh, very good. So if you have 2 apples and I give you 2 more apples, how many apples you will have? That boy said, I don't know. He said, but you told me you learned addition. That boy said, yes, we learned addition, but we only learned how to add oranges. So if you give me 2 apples, I don't know. So now the teacher, the father has to extrapolate and tell, well, if you add 2 oranges to 2 oranges, you will have 4 oranges. And if you add 2 apples to 2 apples, you will have same 4 apples. Like that, right? The teacher just does not come and say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, now go home. The teacher tells that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 and give apples and oranges and examples and all that, and then give homework and so many things, so that boy will catch the concept, isn't it? Not just tell one thing. In the very same way, when we say that at the fundamental level there is nothing but pure existence, which is Brahman, you just don't come and listen here and then you leave it like that and go. And how it will become part of you? We have to constantly think about that. That is why Vidyadanya Swamiji says, we usually don't think about it. Because when we leave here, quickly I am going to open my phone to see how the stock market is doing today because Trump won. If that is what I am doing only, how I will ever imbibe this idea of oneness of the universe. I am so taken up with the diversity and the superficial level that I am only waiting for the class to get over to go back into that thing. I have to do a lot of vichar, keep the mind on that oneness which is connecting the whole universe and nature of existence. I won't get it just like that.
So then what you're saying is abhyas. What
Over
in
abhyas.
Is abhyas. So for us common people, what does that abhyas look like? How much time do we really spend, or how do we keep our mind focused constantly to be aware, to have that awareness every time we live or do things, that oneness is still there?
Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to give a very nice example for this thing. What you do, you hold on to this abhyas with your 2 hands. Hold on to God, hold on to reality with your 2 hands all the time. And
What
if
is
you
it?
have
I can't
to...
do any other work then if I'm busy
I
with
have
that.
not finished the example yet.
Oh, okay.
Hold on with your 2 hands.
Okay.
And when you have some work to do, let one hand go and do that work and all that kind of thing. And when you are finished, what we do, we hold on to the world with 2 hands. And then we forget we have to hold on to. That's our problem.
Big problem.
Yes.
So I think we lose the sight of spirituality in all that superficial level that we're living.
Actually, this is why I'm so against so many things. What we do, even now if we study Gita, if we study Upanishad, we study Ramayana, we are studying management in Ramayana. We are studying management in Gita. We are studying things like, what was that word they were using yesterday?
Law of attraction. Law of attraction.
Law of attraction. We are studying scriptures for these things. So we are taking the spiritual thing and finding out how to make more money on the stock exchange. How to make more money in the business. So in other words, instead of, we leave this for some time and just adhere to this, what we are doing, we are using this to extend this one. Not good thing. That is not what spirituality is for. Amma wants to say something.
No, I was just thinking very simple language. What abhyas means?
Yes.
Again
And again.
and again till it hits.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Sorry, not working? Well, with your power, this died. I'll use vocal power. I'm strong. Okay.
Yeah.
This question is why did the Hindu religion, with its rich knowledge and scriptures and the universal truth, manifest itself only in India and not in the whole world?
No, that's actually not true. That's a misunderstanding only. I'll tell you. I don't know if you have done some travel in South America. You know here you don't get so much of interaction with the native communities and all of that, right? Yeah. So if you see the native communities in Mexico, in this country, and in South America, and all of that, so many of the practices and the belief systems and the understanding and the appreciation, they have same Sanatana Dharma sprang from that only. It did not just originate in India or any such thing. Why? These are called grassroots Deshi cultures, I like to call them. Deshi means grassroots cultures. So Hinduism sprang from that only. Look, I am not different from the nature. If I destroy the nature, I am destroying myself. That has the same teaching of oneness which we were just talking about. If I destroy the environment, I am eventually destroying myself. This is what all the grassroots cultures teach. So from that only, things have come, but they are all common actually. It did not spring only in Bharat. It's there everywhere.
So the second follow-up to that question was, why do we have different religions claiming to have the same fundamental values, but their practice is so different from what they preach?
No, that also, please understand that religions are not same and they do not teach the same thing also. We should not say that. Actually, we say this because we are scared of variety. Why are you scared of variety? There's a natural variety in the universe, isn't it? We should not be scared of variety, and we should not be scared of saying those people are different from us. It's just that I should allow them their equal space and equal rights and all of that, and they should allow me my equal space and equal rights. And we in Sanatana Dharma, please do these type of things. We have to wipe out from Sanatana Dharma. We are not the same. We do not teach the same thing. Even in moral ethics and all of that, we do not teach the same thing. In religions in this world, they go on slaughtering animal, cow, buffalo, goat, which Hindu will do. And even within Hinduism, within Sanatana Dharma, there will be some sect which does it also. So we do not say that is the general teaching, all Hindus should be doing it. We allow for a variety which is different. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is good if we distinguish ourselves and all of that sort of thing, but there should be mutual respect and a mutual freedom. You practice what you practice, and you should not have part of your program my elimination. Part of your program should be my elimination.
But Swamiji, that's part of the problem, that what we are seeing, at least in North America, is that there is a lot of bad things being spoken about Hinduism and Hindu religion.
Right.
Whereas we know that Hinduism teaches us the tolerance that you just spoke about, that we should accept that. How can we all maintain that Hinduism and not, and face that where you said you
actually
eliminate?
True that Hinduism teaches this, right?
Yes.
And we are also trying to avoid the word tolerance also. We are using words like, for example, acceptance. I accept that this is the way things are. I'm different, you are different. You practice one thing, I practice one thing. So accept that thing. Second thing is, please remember, Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma does not stop there. Sanatana Dharma tells, Arey bhaiya, my left leg has developed cancer and is threatening the existence of the rest of the body. Then what do you do with the left leg? If it is threatening the existence of the rest of the body, we cut it off like that. So if I allow this person his freedom and his rights and all of that, and I expect him to allow me my rights and my freedom and all that kind of thing. But if he is coming to eliminate me, I will have to eliminate him. This is a reality of life. Even the law also allows this thing, correct or not?
Yeah.
The law also allows. And Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma is very much in line with law. Very much. The natural thing, like that. So yes, we allow everybody all their freedoms and right. You have a right to exist and practice and do whatever you do. We love it. You do it. We like the variety. Avibhaktam vivakteshu vivaktam vivachastitam. There's a vibhakta, diversity. And we allow. But you cannot have as part of your program my annihilation.
Anybody, any other questions?
I think our time has gone over.
Any question? Yeah.
Oh, still.
So,
Oh.
that is,
Oh, yes.
any tips to navigate between sambandha and vyavahara transactions by living in this world?
No, so navigate means to say, see, sambandha is sambandha. Nobody could change it. You're part of Brahman whether you like it or not. And the tip I give is very important. What is that? My vyavahar which I am living, I have to take guidance from scriptures, from gurus, from the tradition and all of that to know how to navigate this vyavahar. There's no other way. Just the guidance has to be taken from the right place. So now, also, scriptures cannot tell every single situation you will face. That is not possible because desh kal paristhiti goes on changing. So what the scriptures will give you is the general guideline so that when the new paristhiti arises tomorrow, new situation arises tomorrow, you will have to be able to apply the basic teaching. Because like for example now we have internet. Now before that we did not have all these big problems. The internet brought so many problems with it. So now the paristhiti has changed the situation. So now I'll have to learn how to apply the basic teaching to the new paristhiti, new situation. So this is a dynamic thing. But remember, the basic teaching and the response always should come from an application of Shastra, not from what you think.
But one of the problems that probably all of us face is that the scriptures, they seem like so vast, so big, so detailed. And if we are beginners and we are just starting, often the question is, where do I start?
Yeah,
Where is
same
that
question
first
came last night.
starting of that
Same
knowledge?
question came last night, and Chinmay Mission has very nice beginners courses online at CIF. Please see this thing. We have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And they are really wonderful classes at our CIF. You can take online, you don't have to leave Canada and go anywhere. And you get introduced. So slowly, the basic and fundamental teachings will be in me. So that when a situation arises, I'll spontaneously respond. But we need to equip ourselves with that knowledge. Otherwise I can't respond. I become, stultified when situations arise. All right.
Now, living in this superficial world, nothing occurs without sponsorship. Today's session is, we are very grateful to our sponsors, and just to name some of them, Sandeep Kadam, who's a realtor, Durham Cricket Arena, who have sponsored this and are going to entertain our children, the Cricket Academy, they are a cricket academy, the families of Binduji, Dineshi and family, and Rachnaji and myself and our family who've sponsored this event.
Right. I just want to make one quick announcement. See, when we started the ashram in Trinidad, in the first phase itself, we built a hostel. Way back, beginning of the century. We built a hostel in the first phase itself. And immediately I started having camps there. And then we've been having kids coming from Jamaica, Guyana, different places to the camps in the summertime. And this has been going on for some years. And recently, when we opened the Guyana ashram, quickly I had a camp. So we had chicks from here, chicks from US, from Trinidad, and all they all reached Guyana. So we have this thing going on for a long time. Every summer I have there a camp for kids. And we also have camps for adults, so many things happening. So now our summer camp is coming up also. I think after the camps finish in these places and you want to send your children to the camp there, you're most welcome. It's called Gurukul camp. For those families who want to send, just let us know, we can make whatever arrangement and all. Alright? Gurukul camp we call. Gurukul means what? Come and stay in the Gurukul. Not, visiting. And then they get really taught all the wonderful things. Staying in a Gurukul is a different thing from visiting and going back home. Alright.
Now we've got lovely refreshments for you all in the room down the corridor. Some chai, samosas, idli sambar for people who like salty.